Now, listen, for you guys out there that are listening right now, we do invite you to interact with the show. We do invite you to bring your comments in. Right now, we do have a comment from somebody in the audience from Laram23. Ready for a mind-blowing Tom Brady stat? Are you ready over there, sports nerd? Here's a Tom Brady stat. This is according to Laram23. So this could be 100% true or 100% false. He has the fourth most wins all time versus NFC opponents in the playoffs, tied with Aikman and Breeze. Is he counting Super Bowls? If he's counting Super Bowls, I believe the stat, because as of right now, he's only got 2 wins. But if he's counting Super Bowls, and I believe Tom is 5, that would give him 7, and that would be very possible. We're gonna have to look that one up. Yep. Is that what it is? Is that what he's talking about here?
Yeah, that's pretty much accurate. His claim.
Oh, he's right. Oh wow, good for you, Leland. All right, buddy. All right, we're going to talk about the NFC and the AFC championship games. These are going to be big games that we're going to be talking about. We're going to tell you our picks. Last week, I was on fire again. I've been unbelievable in the playoffs. The sports nerd has not been as good, but he's been pretty decent. And we're going to share our picks with you guys and break down each one of the games in just a little bit. But before we do, we're going to play a little game that we invented, and the game is called Trade, Draft, or Stay Put. And what we're going to do is Lance is going to introduce a team to me, and then we're going to talk about if that team should trade, draft, or stay put at the quarterback position, which is the most important position in sports, and that's what we're doing today. The name of the game is Trade, Draft, or Stay Put. Lance, fire away.
Okay, let's get the ball rolling. First team, Jacksonville Jaguars. What do they need to do, John?
The Jacksonville Jaguars, 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000% will draft a quarterback. You can't stay put with Gardner Minshew. You can't trade for anybody, or at least I would not trade for anybody. You have an opportunity with a team that's stripped down to the soup and nuts to take a brand new quarterback, keep him on a 5-year rookie contract, and build around him. He's a legendary talent coming out of the draft. He's a once in a generation guy. They haven't seen a guy like this since Andrew Luck. Bring him in, build an offense around him, build an entire team around him, and worry about the salary cap ramifications of having a superstar quarterback like that 6 years from now. But in the next 5 years, you got salary cap, you got warm weather, you got no state tax, and you got a team that could do something. I say you draft a quarterback.
Yeah, I do agree. You have to draft a quarterback. We have Trevor Lawrence in the precipice already. But again, one person cannot lead you to the promised land, especially in the NFL. You need to hit in all positions, in all aspects of the game. So with Trevor Lawrence locked in at number 1, you need to fuel him or put weapons around him to finally build a winning culture in Jacksonville.
I agree. What's the next team?
Okay, next team, New York Jets. Trade, draft, stay put.
Look, if I'm the Jets, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to trade, and I'm going to draft. And I'm not going the Deshaun Watson route. That team is far too beat up to be bringing in a $30 million quarterback. That's not the answer. The answer is you got a new coach who's going to build a solid defense, and he's going to need a lot of weapons. He's going to need a good quarterback that he can build around. Sam Darnold may have all the talent in the world, but it has not been exploited. You have missed your window, and that it's a small window, but you've missed your window to build around that rookie quarterback. Sam Darnold still has some value to somebody out there who won't be able to draft in the top half of the draft, but desperately needs a quarterback. You may be able to trade him to somebody like New Orleans or somebody like that's seen some potential in him that's later, or New England that maybe wants to take a shot at him, doesn't mind paying the contract, but you get him out of your books. You draft a brand new quarterback. You get the kid from BYU. You get the kid from Ohio State. You bring him in. You build everything from the ground up with, again, same philosophy. Rookie quarterback, 5 years to build that team up again. That's what I'm going to do if I am the New York Jets. I'm trading Sam Darnold. I'm getting something back, and I'm drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, I do agree with trading Sam Darnold, but the question would be, are there many bidders for Sam Darnold, because his current volume of work isn't that So he has been struggling over the years with the Jets. So performances alone, that is not a good that is not a good performance to base off what he could be in the future. So the best option for the New York Jets is to give Sam Darnold one more opportunity, and then get a younger quarterback that will contend for him in the position. If it happened to be that the younger quarterback will be better than him, then he will be benched. Or if he really wants the job, then he will compete for it with a younger, fresher quarterback already in the roster for the New York Jets.
I disagree with you just for the simple fact that I think if you keep Darnold and you draft somebody, the destination for Darnold eventually is on the bench. That's where he's going to go. And as soon as he hits the bench, he loses value. Right now, he's looked at as a starting quarterback. He's looked at as a guy with a tremendous amount of talent. He's looked as a guy that a lot of people would like to have in their hands this year, so they can test him for a year or two and actually see if he's worth another contract. So that's one place I'm gonna disagree with you. Give me another team.
Okay, third team, Indianapolis Colts. Draft, trade, stay put.
Ooh. Look, you have no Phillip Rivers. You have actually no quarterback on your team because I believe both their quarterbacks are free agents. They're going to probably draft. They're going to draft, or they're going to try to grab somebody out of free agency, which I don't think was an option for us. But it's impossible for them to stay put. They can't stay put. If they can draft where they're drafting, which I think is like 24, they're not going to get much. I don't think they're in the trading mindset. Deshaun Watson could be 3 first-round draft choices, 4 first-round draft choices. But 2 minutes ago, we were looking for a destination for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold going to Indianapolis for a second-round draft choice is a heck of a deal for both teams. The Jets get a second-rounder. The Indianapolis Colts get a starting caliber quarterback who's still young for a second-round pick. I think it's a win-win. And the Colts still have a tremendous amount of cap space coming into this year. So if you bring in Darnold, you still have 2 more years on a rookie deal. You can surround him with a lot of talent. I think now that I've worked it out in my head, they're going to trade. Sam Darnold's the pick.
Okay. I would have to say that the Indianapolis are leaning towards staying put, but not after inquiring the availability of other quarterbacks. So remind you that Jacoby Brissett did have 2 years as a starting quarterback, and he did during those years, he did not have a complete roster around him. So now that he has a new coach and he has a better roster around him, I guess that he will do better. And nothing happens if Jacoby Brissett fails for the 3rd time, then consider it a gap year and then draft another quarterback next season.
Yeah, the biggest problem is Jacoby Brissett's a free agent as well. So Phillip Rivers left. Jacoby Brissett's a free agent. So in order to bring back Brissett, you've got to re-sign him. You have to spend a lot of money to bring Brissett back because you're bringing him back as a starter. He's going to want some type of starter money, 17, 18, $15 million. I just don't see it happening. I don't see that being an option for them, in my personal opinion. Give me one more team, and we'll wrap this up.
Okay, this one might be the toughest among all teams that I'll give you. Houston Texans.
Ooh. Look, out of principle, I'm not doing anything. Deshaun Watson being 25 years old, being the quarterback of the team, thinking he should have some input on who the general manager is insane to me. Now, whoever told Deshaun that he would have that type of control is an idiot. I mean, just a complete idiot. But with that being said, I can't imagine that any employee ever thought that they should be in charge of who their boss is going to be. This trend in sports where these guys actually think that they should pick who their coach is, they should pick who their general manager is preposterous to me. You're an employee, and you may be a super talented superstar employee, but when you leave, another employee will take your place. You're not the owner of the team. The owner's the only constant that ever happens in any franchise. The Rooneys have owned the Steelers for 1 billion years, and they will probably continue to own it for 1 billion more. They make the decisions. They decide who the general manager is. Ben Roethlisberger does not. And nor does Deshaun Watson have the right to think at 25 years old, having the life experience of a quarterback, should be the one to decide who should draft. Who should be hired as the general manager of the entire team. I disagree with the premise. And I disagree more with the fact that Watson thinks he's going to force himself out of Houston. If Houston allows this to happen, they're going to lose their pull with everybody. They're going to lose their fan base, and it's going to be a nightmare to build it back. I think if you're Houston, you stand pat and you say play or retire. Those are your options.
Yeah, I do agree with your scenario, John, because let's face it, Deshaun Watson is still under contract with the Houston Texans, so he doesn't have the leverage really. The NFL is not the NBA. James Harden can easily ask for a trade, and then it happened. But in the NFL, it doesn't happen that way. So he'd rather have to play out his contract and do well. And if he gets traded, I believe that out of principle as well, Caserio would like to trade him in the least possible team that will make a playoff run. Out of spite, I guess. So that would be the New York Jets. They do have some draft capital. So in exchange for Watson, Caserio, and the Texans get a lot of draft picks in return, and Deshaun Watson will have wasted like 2 or 3 seasons more in his stellar career just because he has been playing in a bad team.
I'm just thinking about something. Imagine you're a Houston fan. You're like, oh, we have the Rockets, we have the Texans, we got James Harden, we got Deshaun Watson. And then all of a sudden, Harden doesn't want to play there anymore. Now you got to trade away Harden. 2 weeks later, Deshaun Watson says, I don't want to be here either. This is a nightmare scenario if you're a Houston fan. If you're a Houston sports fan, you got to be sitting around right now going, what else could possibly go wrong here? What are they going to do next? Cut J.J. Watt? Maybe. That's a possibility in Houston, actually. Lance, great segment. I love the teams you put together. Good job.